Welcome everybody to the Paranormal Portal. How you guys doing? Just trying to get my crap organized here. At least a little bit better. I was actually looking for my glasses. And oh, they're there. Found them. I can look smarter. Hi, Deborah Neighbors. Good to see you. Hello, everybody who's come in. Great to see you all here. Thank you so much. Great to have all you guys over on Rumble as well as on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, on Twitch, and wherever else you happen to be watching from. But I think that's everywhere I'm sending the show, so that's probably where you are. Hope you guys are having a great week. Happy Hump Day. Hump Day. That's today. And the good news is it's over. So you're on the slide now. This morning was the last bit of uphill, and around noon, I figure roughly that's when the ramp starts changing. Ghost radar is not on. Thank you, Aussie. Appreciate that. Keeping an eye on things for me. Helping me to stay organized. You guys are amazing. What is the date? It's 11th. Wow. February 11th. 2026. There we go. Ghost radar is now functioning within normal parameters, Captain. Don't forget the ghost radar. I did not. Thank you, all three of you so far. It's in the rearview mirror now. It is. Yeah, it's time to ramp up towards everything else. Hello, Kedstar. Sorry. Kedstar. Good to see you. And good to see Yeshua, Planet X, Sharon Sunshine, Wizard Moon, Deborah Neighbors, Amanda's Crazy Life Channel. Yeah, I don't know why I did that in a southern accent. I just did, though. Rachel's here, as is Sharon Sunshine, Aussie Boss Tiger, and who else have I not seen yet? I am looking through the chat, just kind of scrolling. That's where it all started, I guess. Sharon looks like she might have been the first one in, or Rachel. Not sure who won tonight. Let's see. Rachel got in. Just I don't know if Rachel and Sharon came in at the same time, but yeah, they were tied for number one right off the bat. So whatever that means, I don't know, but it's great that you all are here. M-Cat's in the house. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming in, man. Excellent to have you here. I think I'm going to take off a little bit. Oh, I know what was going on. Uh-oh. Is YouTube working? Is YouTube's working? Are you guys working on YouTube? Do you guys see me okay? It says it's excellent, but my back end is showing me, it's showing me this. I'll show you what it's showing me. That's what I see on my back end on YouTube. It's like, so hopefully it's okay. I don't know what the hell's going on. But yeah, you guys are seeing me okay. Well, then screw it up, or screw it, not screw it up. That's what I do every day. Anyway, but I won't worry about it then. If you guys are getting a stream, then everything's working. That's good. Okay, well, we got that going for us. Last thing I need. You guys notice what's happening? Do you notice what's been happening? I've been going Dave Scott now for a while. She might see, this is why I color my hair. I have very pale skin and I have very white hair, and it doesn't look like I have any hair going on. And over here, look at this. This is my natural hair color everywhere. Well, I don't know if it's everywhere. Not sure the carpet's matching the drapes, but you know what I'm saying. I got a lot of white hair on my head. So, yeah, this is why I was kind of getting lazy about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to let it go for a while. I don't like doing much of anything for personal maintenance other than staying clean. Of course, I like that, but I don't like shaving. I don't like coloring things, but I don't like this very much. I really don't. And yeah. So my today's your tomorrow, and it's my 40th birthday. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you and to me. Why not me? I'll share it with you, brother. Happy birthday, Aussie. Fantastic. 40 years on the world. Another lap around the sun. 40 of them so far. Congratulations. I hope you had a wonderful day, or you're having a wonderful day. Happy birthday, brother. I wish it was my 40th. That's about, that's a while ago. We'll just say it's a while ago. Never mind how long ago. What a geezer. Planet X87's in the house. Good to see you. Over on Rumble, we got Barbara Mora, Big D. Card Juice is there, and that's who's there besides me. I'm there as well. So we got 100 messages already. You guys are setting an incredible pace. But yeah, any and all of you, happy birthday if it's your birthday today, or happy birthday if I missed it. If I didn't know, I can only wish it if I know it's happening. But yeah, that's how we roll. We're going to get to, oh my God, we're going to get to some news here. If I pull some up quick, because I forgot that part of prep for the show tonight. Oh yeah, I did that one. That was good. All right, time to refresh and let's look. Oh my God, that's freaking disturbing as hell. Oh, that's not good. I wonder what that's all about. We're going to find out because I'm pulling up. Oh, that one's good too. Looks like some good news, folks. Okay. That one looks good. Well, I think we're all wondering that. And I don't know if that's interesting or not. There we go. All right, I pulled up several news articles that we can cover when we get to that, which is momentarily, of course. Wizard Moon's in the house. Hey, Benno, good to see you, brother. Elaine's here. I'm just saying hi to names as they see them. Planet X, buy yourself a birthday something. It's not my birthday till May 1st, honestly. But thank you for the donation. I do appreciate that. It's Aussie's birthday, though. But I'm sure he'll have a marvelous birthday. He's in Oz. It's their summer. There's nothing wrong when you're in summer. That's always a happy time. Or is it the end of summer over there in Oz yet? Where's it at for you guys? Because it's starting to warm up here, so I'm thinking maybe it's getting a little chillier there. I don't know. Just wherever you are, hope you're doing good. Hope you're nice and warm. Brent, your birthday every day. You are golden. Well, according to Mr. Scott, I'm golden. I'd have to cash in a butt cheek and go shopping if I could. If I were truly golden, I'd be getting some cash off of this hide. But as it were, that's what we got, Brent. Happy birthday, Brent. Oh, Big D. That's a lot early. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. You're only 30 years behind me now. Well, Aussie's 40, but I'm actually, I guess I'm not 30, but maybe right around a little more than less than half that. That's all I'm going to say. I'm actually 57. I think I'm 57. Wow. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. Because honestly, I still feel 20 in my mind. But my body, however, feels about 90. But I don't know. It's a stupid thing to probably comment on. There was a time when I was having back-to-back pneumonias. I was just catching pneumonias all the time. It was when I worked in corrections, so I'm sure I was exposed to like everything possible under the sun as these people came in. But I was getting pneumonias back and forth. So I was brutalized over a period of 2 years. I think I had pneumonia about 6 times. Just kept coming back, or another variant, whatever. So I went and had a testing done at the University of Minnesota at the time. And they hook you up to a machine and they have you do breathing exercises. And at that time, and I was probably about 35, maybe at that time, they said I had the lung capacity of a 110-year-old man. I'm like, what? Is that almost dead? Does that mean I'm almost dead? But I managed to, still hang on for all these years. So I guess I go pet. I don't know. 110-year-old man, they told me. I was like, what? So, yeah, what do you do? I guess a lot of, maybe some scarring from all that pneumonia. I don't know. I was a smoker back then, though, too, so that probably didn't help. I used to smoke a lot, like over a pack a day. I was a situational smoker. I'm not doing nothing. I might as well have a cigarette. And I would have lots of cigarettes. So, and it was actually the gasping for air one day that went, what am I doing? So I crunched up all my cigarettes and quit cold turkey. So, true story. That's how it worked. All right, enough about me. We got some paranormal stuff to get to. I'm sure we are all all anxiously awaiting something interesting to discuss other than my health. And by God, I'm one to please. I'm aiming to please. My grandmother's 85, and the doctor tells her she has the heart of a 15 years. Wow, she's doing great. Thank God. Wow. Yeah, she's going to probably outlive me. Oh, don't worry, Unknown. You don't ever feel like you need to explain about having a membership or not. I appreciate those of you that can, and those of you that do. That means the world, but it also means the world that you guys are here and that you like the streams. There's lots of ways to support what I'm doing, and only a few of them are financial. There's lots of other ways. Recommending the show, liking, commenting, being a part of the live streams. That's all wonderful stuff. You guys are all helping me in amazing ways. So, financially is certainly great, but it's only one manner of support for the show. I need all of them. So got a bunch of Botox shots today for migraines. Ouch. Unknown says, I love the show and I respect you, so I'll do what I can. Well, please only do it if you can. And I mean that sincerely to any and all of you. I appreciate generosity and stuff. That means, it's very humbling, but it would break my heart if anybody ever gave more than they could comfortably. That to me would just really screw me up. So please don't give unless it's comfortable for you to do so. I can go collect aluminum cans. I'll be fine. I'm just kidding. All right, so I guess we're going to get to some of the news, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of stuff to get to here tonight in the 2 hours that are allotted. Oh, I do want to mention on Friday, I'm going to have a special guest with me because it's Friday the 13th. And if you've been around the show for a while, you know that Friday the 13th was historically the day of the week or the months when they came around that I would do shows with Mr. Kev Baker. And then he would come on and do our show. So we would do a 5-hour marathon every Friday the 13th. We called it Freaky Friday the 13th or whatever. And had a blast with Kev himself and Scotty and, of course, our dear and wonderful friend Naysay. Well, Naysay is going to be with me on Friday. He's going to come in, and we're going to honor and pay homage to Mr. Kev Baker once again and celebrate Friday the 13th. Just the way we know how. So, Brent, you have a 110-year-old man's lungs. I have his spine. Well, if we join together, we could become Voltron, the overaged. All right. Anyway, I'm getting stupider as the time goes on. Yeah, long live Kev. Absolutely. He lives on in our hearts and in what we do. I hope that this show always, pays homage to that man. He was a key figure in me developing the Paranormal Portal the way I did. Kev was and is a wonderful soul, and hopefully he's smiling down on all of us right now. So go Voltron. There it is. All right, so let's get to the news and find out just what's left of the news in the world. There's all kinds of it, but most of it we won't touch on this show. We'll just do the interesting and fun stuff. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the news.
All the news you love, from the wild to the weird to the fascinating or interesting, with your host Brent Thomas.
Time for the news, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Paranormal Portal News, where we dive into news stories from around the world, a lot of different subject matters. Sometimes it's scientific, sometimes it's religious in a sense, sometimes it's esoteric and spiritual, sometimes it's paranormal, sometimes it's any number of things, and sometimes it's bizarre and funny. So we try to cover it all as much as we can. So this is the news. Now, remember, throughout the course of the show, I utilize a lot of different websites to present this information to you. Again, I just ask you guys support these shows, support these sites, not the shows, the sites, because these sites are doing it better than anyone out there. And I want to showcase them. I want to promote them as much as we can here in our little window of the interwebs. I want to let you guys know where it comes from and where you can find more. So please go visit these sites, because your traffic equals revenue, which keeps the lights on. Hey, Big D. He remembered. Thank you, brother. 41 months Big D's been with me. Wow. That's great. Yeah, it'll be great to hear Nay say, yeah, he'll be here. He'll be here. He'll be here. I've been noticing I do that. I wonder if I got like early onset Parkinson's something going on, because sometimes I'll just like da, 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 and then a word comes out. But it's probably just my addled brain calcification of my pineal gland, which is expanding to my whole cranium. But anyway, let's check it out. This is the news, and we're going to get to the stories now. And the first stories, well, all of the stories tonight are coming from a website that is absolutely astoundingly incredible. Absolutely astoundingly incredible. And this is unexplained-mysteries.com, and it's been a staple of the news forever. I've never found a better site. It's been the site that I think it was the very first site I ever used for news, just because I stumbled onto it and was like, maybe I should do a news segment. There you go. So they kind of inspired this in a way. And I'm a huge supporter of this site. I love it. And they're doing it great. Well, here's the first article from there. And this one's from the Science and Technology Files. It's not too long, though. Don't worry. You know, when you have kids and you're always trying to figure out ways to get them to take their medicine, and you know, with your pets, you might put a pill in peanut butter or yogurt or something to get them to ingest it. With kids, you maybe put it in a cookie or something. I don't know. There's just, and then you get liquid stuff so that it kind of tastes good, but most kids hate that liquid stuff anyway. At least all mine did. No, I can't do the VCZ top. I can't grow a beard. I don't have enough whiskers. But that's kind of funny that they're apparently still working on this for adults. And here you go. In the news, I know what I'm not drinking ever. Here we go. Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us this article from Science and Technology. Scientist develops drinkable vaccine in the form of a glass of beer. Are you freaking kidding me? Wow. What in the hell is this? Could I have my TB Pilsner, please? I'm here for my pale flu ale. That's just freaking absolutely asinine. I don't know. And well, let's read it and find out more. Imagine instead of getting an injection, you could just take a vaccine simply by downing an alcoholic drink. You get lit and vaccinated all in one shot. Those adverse to the idea of needles might soon be able to receive a vaccine dose by simply drinking it in the form of a glass of beer. Who would have known? A remarkable development comes courtesy of virologist Chris Buck and colleagues at the National Cancer Institute, NCI, in Maryland, where they spent the last 15 years developing a polyamovirus. Okay. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Polyamovirus vaccine. Taking this one step further, the most recent achievement was to engineer a special strain of yeast that can be used to produce an ingestible vaccine in the form of beer. Buck was so confident about his vaccine beer that after testing it on mice, he proceeded to test it on not only himself, but his own family. Yeah, that's not good. The test revealed that the beer actually seemed to work at delivering the vaccine, so could this really be the future of vaccine delivery? Bill Gates would have this in everything we eat. According to some researchers, there's reason to be cautious. One critic, virologist Michael Imperial, told the University of Michigan Medical School, noted that the sample size is currently too small and the side effects of the vaccine beer remain unclear. Even so, Buck thinks he is definitely onto something. This is the most important work of my whole career, he said. It's important enough to risk my career over. Well, God bless you. I mean, everybody has a dream, but there you go. Holy God, the unknown. Rolling it in. Brother. Unknown gifted 5 memberships, ladies and gentlemen, to the Paranormal Portal. B. Browning, you got one. Mr. Bone Popo. I don't know. How do you say bone popo? Paradox Fossils got one. Irish 5884 got one. And Jimmy the Voice got one too. Jimmy the Voice, nice to meet you. I'm Brent Thomas. I got a voice too. I don't know what is Jimmy the Voice? Do you do voiceovers or what is that? That's a pretty cool name. Well, anyway, welcome to all 5 of you. You're now trial members of the channel. You get 30 days as members of the channel, and hopefully you like it and you want to stick around. But if not, thanks for giving it a shot. Special thank you to Unknown who made all of this happen. You're awesome, brother. Thank you so much. All right, you don't have to do anything, brother. You're fine. You do wonderful just being you. Being here, you developed so many things for the show anyway. But thank you. I appreciate that sentiment. But all right, that is a cool name. Yeah, it is. It is. All right, that's the first article. Beer medicine. I mean, there's worse ways, right? Could be a suppository. I'm just kidding. Those things are I'm pretty sure invented by Satan. But yeah. Anyway, let's continue on and get to the next article because there's more. We got more. And what do I mean? Well, we got a modern mystery here. I don't know what's going on, but it sounds like a modern day Dyatlov Pass, if you will. And this is from the Modern Mysteries files of unexplained-mysteries.com. Mystery as 6 people are found dead in the mountains of Bulgaria. What? That's like echoing Dyatlov Pass all over the place. Two baffling triple deaths in a remote part of the country have left investigators scratching their heads. According to reports, the strangeness began just over a week ago when the bodies of 3 people were found in a remote mountain hut near Petrohan. Then on Sunday, the bodies of another 3 people, including a teenage boy, were found in a camper van outside of Okolchitsa Peak area. This is a case without comparison in our country, said Zahari Voskov of the National Police General Directorate. The narrow time period in which 2 sets of death occurred, coupled with the strange circumstances surrounding them, has left police investigators desperate for answers. According to reports, the hut has been used by members of a non-governmental organization of nature-loving forest rangers who were known to patrol the region and aid the authorities. Well, 5 of the deceased were thought to have lived in the hut, and CCTV footage recorded outside shows all 6 of them saying goodbye to each other on the morning of the killings. 3 of them later set the building on fire. What? Several guns and bullets were also found in the vicinity of the bodies, and exactly what happened, what had compelled the group to kill one another and themselves, remains unclear. Oh, yeah, that's not quite Dyatlov Pass, though, is it? I don't know. They did each other in. Yikes, that's a little spooky. Don't know, but I don't know if we'll ever know the answer to that. That's pretty creepy. Pretty creepy stuff. Hi, Kitty. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Always wonderful when you guys come in the show. All right, let's go to the next one. And this may be our last one for tonight because we're already at 7:30. Wow. Obviously, everybody's heard the scuttlebutt is, did we really go to the moon back in 1969? And onward, where the moon landings faked. Did it even happen? And some of that speculation is fueled, I think, by the fact that NASA claims that they lost pretty much all the evidence that we were on the moon to begin with. The moon landing tapes, technologies that were somehow impossible to decipher once again. And who knows what else. But anyway, there's a lot of weirdness surrounding the moon landings. And I don't pretend to know, but I tend to believe we probably were there. I just, again, think of Russia and how we were absolutely neck and neck in this thing. And if they had any inkling at all that what happened was fake, they would have blasted it all over the place because they didn't want us to win the space race. But allegedly we did. But anyway, unless they were so convinced by the con too, I don't know. Is that impossible? No. But let's see what this article says because it's still ongoing. What really happened to NASA's original moon landing tapes? Not too long. We can read this. Tape recordings made during the Apollo program were reportedly wiped due to a tape shortage. A tape shortage. It's like a bunch of kids recording over old cassettes. I'm sure NASA probably could have whipped up some new ones, right? Or were they, it says. So you'd think that something such as monumental importance as the footage from the first manned moon landing would have been preserved like a high-value museum piece, but incredibly, several of the original recordings of the Apollo 11 mission were said to have been wiped out and reused due to a tape shortage in the 70s and 80s. But was this the whole story? Now, according to science communicator Tim Dodd, the tapes that NASA wiped were actually only backups of the raw transmissions sent from space. At the time, the space agency had considered these less critical because everything had been broadcast on live TV with copies distributed to the networks across the world. According to Dodd, NASA had never anticipated that in the future it would be possible to scan and remaster the tapes in a much higher resolution using computers. Despite claims to the contrary, there was no conspiracy to erase the tapes to hide evidence of the moon landings were fake. This wouldn't make any sense anyway, as the event was broadcast to millions of people around the world. Today, thanks to modern restoration techniques and surviving broadcast copies, we can still watch the moon landing in astonishing clarity, even if the original master tapes are gone forever. The episode remains a cautionary tale about archival foresight and how to understand and our understanding, rather, of historical value can change with time and technology. Well, there you go. Well, good thing we still got copies. It's not like they lost all of them, and there's nothing more at the end. Obviously, because you can go watch them on YouTube right now, I'm sure. But there you go. That's the third article tonight, and I hope you found that rewarding and fun. And then we got more articles for next time, because I just pulled up 6 of them. Man, I'm getting a headache. Ooh. Ding, ding, ding. But I guess that wraps it up for the Paranormal Portal News. Hope you guys liked it. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you're leaving the news with a whole new sense of excitement for every day. I don't even know what the hell that means. But let's get back to the rest of the show, ladies and gentlemen.
When breaking news happens, Paranormal Portal is there.
It's not looking so good out here, Brent.
Award-winning and most trusted news.
Brent, the thief broke into the donut shop in the middle of the night. Be on the lookout. The man is in his late 60s, heavy set, and wearing some kind of hat.
First, live, local.
Is this a paranormal show? Why am I doing the weather?
This is Paranormal Portal News.
Man, it's tough. It is tough. There we go. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for more of the Paranormal Portal. And I'm your guide, your tour guide through the unknown. And I hope to do a good job guiding you. The Ghost Radar has been pretty quiet tonight. That's kind of cool. Again, I like that about it. This is the Ghost Radar right here, right there on your screen, and that is always running on the shows. I don't know. I believe that the energies come and go, and maybe they are paranormal. It's not substantiating if something comes on. It doesn't mean there's a ghost, but it might mean there's a ghost. It also has a word database, which has been fun because sometimes it throws out the most relevant words and phrases that are absolutely surprising, just because, the laws of average, I think, would be vast. I don't know how big the word database is, but what are the odds that, I'm working on a short, and it's really edit heavy because, I've got a really big body of film to draw from or footage to draw from. And I'm trying to make a short of it. But when we did the What the Hell Is That segment, we were showing a picture of a spirit. And I ask you guys at the end of everything I show you, do you think what we're looking at is real? If you think it's real, give it a 1 in the chat. And if you think it's not real, give it a 0. And the ghost box right on cue said 0. I was like, huh? And I was like, yeah, Scoob. So there you go. I don't know. if you believe in ghost boxes or not, but sometimes it's surprising what comes out of that thing. So we'll just keep an eye on it. And if you see stuff in this circle here that I'm moving my mouse around, that's the 2D representation of the space around me. And obviously I'm facing this way as if I'm facing the top of the map, the top of the radar screen. And everything else, this is my left, this is my right, this is behind me. So obviously there's a wall right behind me. So if it detects something back here, it's probably not even in the room. It's in a different part of the house. If it detects something over from here to the left, that's not in my house either. That's outside. So, but gives us a reference that maybe things move through our space. So we'll keep an eye on that. Just so you know, I try the phone ghost box. Things do come out of it, but yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, ghost apps. Hi, Mark Eddy. Good to see you, brother. Good to have you stopping in, Mark Eddy, of course, from Third Eye Live with Brian Bowden. Good to have you here. It's not conclusive. Any one thing is not conclusive, but people that work in ITC and even the godfathers of ITC, which means instrumental transcommunication, which is using devices or electronics to communicate with spirits that we can't hear or see and or talk to. They say that the more you use a tool, the more it becomes attuned to you. And I can see that would be important, because I think whatever goes on, we are a part of that circuit. So if you're not using something very much, you turn it on, you might get nonsense, you might get a bunch of crap, but if you use it more, you might get more relevant information. So I'm not advocating those things. How you doing, 420 man from the West? Good to see you, brother. I'm not advocating using those things. I think anytime you investigate spirit stuff, you got to be careful, because you are tapping into something that we don't understand. And there's no telling who you're talking to, regardless of what it tells you. You can't really take it on face value. Oh, this is Grandpa. It said, I'm your grandpa. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure that's Grandpa? Could be Grandpa Beelzebub. I'm just kidding. I don't want to summon anything dark here, but anyway, yeah, I think use it. Be careful, but if you choose to use it, just understand it's probably going to become more relevant as you use it, if you're willing to use it. But make your own choices. I'm not advocating it, and I am not vilifying it either. I think that's, I find it's amazing to make contact with what might be spiritual entities. I think it's fun and fascinating, and just gives us a unique moment to reach across this impossible chasm of our realities. And I think that's really cool. All right. What are we going to do now? Let me look. I got to look and see what I got pulled up over here. I do have some things pulled up, that's for sure. Oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll save that one. What was this one? Oh, I didn't ever do this one. Did I? Oh, yeah, I didn't do this one. This one's kind of cool. This is a cool article. It's kind of a little bit longer, so it's probably going to take a couple shows. This is an article from Listverse, and we've been covering a few of these lately. I like Listverse because it's one of those websites, much like Thought Catalog and Ranker and so many others that operate on the same way, as it generates lists about pretty much anything. And you can find some fascinating topics that are covered on these sites. I'm sure something you're interested in is gonna ring a bell with you if you go check it out. So please do support this site, Listverse. It's listverse.com. And this article from listverse.com is... Oh, scheisse. Why don't I turn those off? And let me reframe this a little bit, because it's a little over. All right, this is top 10 most singular encounters with unidentified creatures. Well, I can't think of a better way to spend our Wednesday than to go through a bunch of these. So I hope you guys are ready. By the way, I got a ton of what the hell is that? And then we got Crypted Corner if we got time. So we're going to get to as much of all of this as we can. Hi, Mike. Cool. Good to meet you. Good to have you here, man. Thanks for coming in. Elaine's in the house. Who else came in? Chucky Danger. Good to have you here, brother. I was just watching Earth Files. Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad you made it. All right, let's go. This is the article. Let's have a read. We're just going to start from number 10, the Malawi Terror Beast. Did I do this one? Were we already doing this one? No, we haven't done this one. No, we haven't. Here we go from the Malawi Terror Beast. Panic is not just a natural human emotion. It's an event that can ruin a community. In many cases, a mass hysteria have innocuous or even unidentifiable origins. A brief bout of brain fog due to a cold can send a classroom of impressionable youths into full-blown fit of sympathetic and escalating symptoms that often accompanied by spurious conspiratorial/supernatural explanation. Wow, this is really wordy. This isn't one of those cases. Well, sort of. Who wrote this, by the way? This is by C.J. Phillips, and it was written April 24th, 2022, so 4 years ago. Good start to the article, though. So, I don't know. It says the main difference between in the case of the Malawi Terror Beast attacks is that the cause of the panic was quite real. Throughout 2003, 4,000 villagers from Malawi's central Dawa district fled their homes after a spate of animal attacks that maimed and disfigured many and killed at least 3. The monster tore out eyes, removed facial features, and even limbs. Many locals claim the beast had an array of magical powers that allowed it into people's homes to prey upon them. But it was probably just a rabid hyena, it says. Probably. I don't know. Here we go, number 9. The Escaped Prisoner of War and the Abominable Snowman. Oh, look at that name. Sławomir Rawicz was a Polish soldier and prisoner of war in Russia in 1941. It's not a good place to be, those Soviet gulags, so he decided to flee alongside 6 other prisoners. Rawicz trudged on his way across Siberia, the Gobi Deserts, and over the Himalayas and Tibet into British India. This year-long march was punctuated by moments of great hardship and peril, most notably a period in the mountains where he and his comrades took a moment to view a pair of Yetis as they also journeyed across the frozen wastes. Well, the beast stood 2.5 meters or 8 feet tall, and according to the author, their faces I could not see in detail, but the heads were squarish, and the ears lie close to the skull because there's no projection from the silhouette against the snow. The shoulders slope sharply down to a powerful chest. The arms were long and the wrists reached the level of the knees. Seen in profile, the back of the head was a straight line from the crown into the shoulders. They had shaggy, brownish, red, gray, and rust-like hair all over their massive frames. That's quite the account, especially given all the other amazing details of this mammoth journey from bondage to freedom. Yeah, probably didn't happen. A BBC investigation in 2006 revealed that Rawicz had been transferred to a refugee camp in Iran in 1942. Not the subject of a film-worthy escape across the harsh wilds of the East. Still, cool story. Oh, that's a bummer. So the dude made all that up? There's a video here. It's called The Long Walk. BBC Radio 4. Okay. Tommy Grabiak as Sławomir Rawicz. Okay. Maybe not real, but at least we know now. It does seem like, I mean, what are your odds if you're just escaping into the tundra and you've got to cross mountain ranges and deserts over a year's period of time to get to India? It's like, what are the odds? The odds had to be astronomical for anyone to do that. And I'm sure being an escapee, you would only have maybe rudimentary winter clothes, like the kind that will keep you warm for an hour or two, but probably not for a year. Anyway, I don't know. Apparently it's not true, though. All right, number 8, the real location of the well to hell. I think it was in my ex-girlfriend's basement. Thank you. I'm here all night. I'm just saying it might have been. Might have been. I don't know. That's what I heard. In 2020, YouTuber Tech Rax traveled to the thermal hot springs called Diana's Punch Bowl found in the found in the desert of Nye County, Nevada. There he lowered an iPhone 11 into the boiling waters of the pit with the aid of a drone and a fishing line. He wanted to test whether it would keep recording while submerged in the steaming waters. Well, the first test was successful. The phone was undamaged, letting the viewer get a good look at the rocky landscape beneath the boiling water. The second test, which is what every good scientist will do, replicate their experiments, revealed something horrific. The rocky landscape was accompanied by the sounds of pained screams and mournful yelling. Probably steam, but anyway. From inside the hot spring, did this humble tech YouTuber just encounter a host of damned souls, or do iPhones really suck at audio capture? By the way, Diana's Punch Bowl is also known as the Devil's Cauldron. Just saying. I like that close. That's cool. Yeah, if anything has the name devil in it, you're probably good to avoid it. I don't think you poke that bear. You just leave it alone. Number 7, the not-so-missing link to a tiny past. Oh, the Orang Pendek. Again, that's from Indonesia. A lot of research going on over there looking for this, which may be a diminutive branch relative of what we understand as Bigfoot, or the Yeren or Yowie or whatever. So, I don't know. Claims of ape-like people living in solitary existence in the more extreme and remote environments are a human universal. There isn't anywhere in the world where some group or another won't claim that there's a tribe of monstrous humanoids, or hominids rather, hiding away in the islands of Southeast Asia. The hidden tribes of ape men are called the Orang Pendek. Again, Orang is people, Pendek is little. Another word for little. These critters, unlike the giants that supposedly stalk the Siberian taiga, the Pacific Northwest, or the foothills of the Himalayas, they're teensy. Versus the slew of Bigfoot videos to be found online, it seems that the few Orang Pendek videos are of a more convincing nature. It's apparently harder to get a convincing shot of a tiny person, a child maybe, to move around like a human being in a small costume than renting a King Kong costume for a pal and then film them wandering through the thick brush with added whispering exclamations and shaky camera work, of course. The rich folklore surrounding the Orang Pendek, coupled with the existence of the hominid subspecies Homo floresiensis, many millennia ago, will leave even the most ardent, cynic skeptic with a long drawn-out maybe on their lips. Interesting. I think they're out there. Again, I think that they're probably most likely an offshoot of orangutans, and they're still discovering new species of orangutan. But there's several key components of the sightings. One is that they're generally seen depicted with a very reddish brown hair. Like, they don't seem to have the black variant or any other variants. It's pretty consistent in the reports I've heard that they have that. Now, another thing is, you ever seen an orangutan when they get upset? They kind of they get all hyper and then they throw up their arms and they start running around. That's exactly what villagers report these Orang Pendek doing, is throwing up their hands and screaming and yelling and running away. So it seems very, very primate-like behavior as demonstrated by orangutans already. So I think it's probably some offshoot of that, maybe a little more shy than the other ones, but that's my take. But yeah, I don't know. Butts get red. Brent, Rachel, hello friend, good to see you. I'm just reading the chat here. The creature is ugly. Yeah, I mean, it's a face a mother could love, but I don't know. If you look at an orangutan, they're not really going to be on the cover of too many magazines. They're kind of a homely looking ape, but they're kind of sweet in their own right. Anyway, there it is. And all of these seem to have a video, so I will put this link in the chat so you guys can check out these video parts of it on your own. Number 6, witches in our airspace. Real Mexican flying witch Monterey caught on tape, long version, full HD La Bruja ghost. Okay, well, here's some ghost videos. Levitating girl in the Russian forest. Now, with both videos found in this entry are weird. They seem to show flying or levitating humans. The immediate thought from those who wish the preternatural to be real is, arg, witches are real, hide the kids. But even if these were humans with the ability to fly, why would they be evil? Isn't it kind of cool? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, if I could fly, I'd be doing it. Absolutely. I'd do it to go to the bathroom. I'd be like, I'd be flying everywhere. Screw this walking stuff. I'd be about $3.5 bills in no time, but I'd be flying. I'd look like a Macy's Day Parade float. Thanksgiving Day. That's what I was trying to say there. Macy's Parade float. But yeah, I'd be flying everywhere. Hell yeah. No doubt. No more of this walking crap. Let's get her done. It says in the video from Monterrey, Mexico, shot back in 2006, a humanoid figure gently floats alongside a mountain range, seemingly in a seated position, like an old lady riding an invisible stair lift. The second video, shot in a forested area, probably Russia, seems to show the discovery of a mother training her daughter or child she's kidnapped. Jeez, it's a little dark. To remain static in midair when they hear the video taker's dog, named Tarzan, which is cute, barking at them. The girl descends quickly and runs off into the brush. Given that both these videos may as well have been shot using a potato, thus making wires and such aids visible amid the graininess, there is no proof that the footage shows humans with supernatural abilities. What motivates those who wish it were so, however, is equally mysterious, a will for the fantastical or fear of the unknown. Well, there you go. Yeah, I would recommend checking out this one. I think this one's good. This one's not bad, but it's just a silhouette. You can't really make out any detail. Just something flying just above the horizon of the mountainside here. It's a figure, and you can kind of see it poking above the play button there. But they're both good videos, but the floating kid is, I think, more compelling because it'd be like, even if it was wires, there's no big trees right next to that they could anchor those wires to keep her aloft. I mean, it's by these little scrubby brush trees, so it doesn't appear there's any large trees that could support that weight. But anyway, you be the judge. The South African sea monster. Oof. Yep, sea monsters. I did show you the Flying Kid video. Yeah. Wasn't that on what the hell is that? Mardi Gras floats only $6.66 at Costco. Yeah, well, I'll become one. I'll rent myself out for parties. All right, back to Africa now. Not to regard a real monster, but not to regard a real monster. It seems to be quite the opposite, just a dead animal. Globsters, as they're wonderfully/grossly termed, are the putrid, festering carcasses of large marine animals that have washed ashore. The ocean's a weird alien place to us land dwellers, and even the corpses of deep-sea denizens look strange to us. How would you react to a large woolly white mass if you saw it on the beach? You'd probably assume this is a body of some titanic polar bear, god who lost a fight with the whale god if you didn't know better. What if it seemingly had a trunk? Well, check out the monstrous pile of goop that washed ashore at Margate in 1924. Locals claim to have witnessed the creature fighting with 2 killer whales off the coast a few hours before washing ashore. And on looking at the mess of furry, stinking flesh on the beach, it seemed to be plausible. A long, unidentifiable creature with a protuberance that resembled a trunk could easily inspire tales of an aquatic mammoth-like beast wrestling whales. Or as stating above or before, it was a globster. A globster. It's not a lobster, it's a globster. I mean, it looks like what I would think of as a dead polar bear. But, yeah, terrible. Here's the monster with an untranslatable name. Almasty. What does this mean? It's pretty translatable. The Alma Mountains are in Russia, so that's where Zana was from. Zana is a tale of a village in the Alma mountain range in Russia where the villagers ended up capturing what was a feral humanoid being, often attributed to be like a Bigfoot. She was female, and they apparently kept her in a pit for 3 years until her spirit was broke, and then they brought her up. and let her live among the villagers. And unfortunately, in a truly tragic display of selfishness, she became kind of the village concubine for wayward, lonely guys. And she would have offspring that were allegedly hybrid. Unfortunately, she had a tendency after her offspring were born as newborns to bring them down to the icy cold river and wash them off, which then, of course, sent these fragile humanoid babies into, shock and unrecoverable. So what they ended up doing was apparently, as she had progressive offspring, they would take them from her and raise them away from her so she couldn't accidentally kill the child. So, and apparently she had some offspring that were half and half, and she's clearly not a normal human, but what was she exactly? We don't really know. But her offspring were actually very legendary in this village because they displayed incredible strength and ability beyond what a normal person had by a long shot. So pretty cool stuff. So look into the story of Zana if you want a pretty compelling tale. Well, Almasty, what does it mean? We don't really know. A scientist at the Soviet Academy of Sciences suggests back in 1964 that the Almas, Russian Bigfoot, may be a population of Neanderthals surviving in the taiga. Maybe it's a word from their language. Well, I thought the mountains were called the Almas. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, probably not. Supposed interactions with humans are rarely recounted. One prominent story is the case, a fabricated story perhaps, of Major General Mikhail Topolsky of the Red Army from 1925. On leading his men through the densely forested Russian interior, hunting for rebel fighters, Topolsky's scouts attacked some of the rebels as they made their base in an ice cave. They threw grenades at the entrenched rebels, sealing the entrance of the cave with dislodged rock and ice. One of the men emerged to sue for peace. I didn't even know that was a phrase. I'm suing you for peace. While they made ready to tentatively engage with their captors, the Red Army soldiers became shocked at hearing gunfire and howls emanate from the partially sealed cave. Rebels began to rush out of the collapsing cave, easy pickings for Red Army marksmen. One survived. The rebel prisoner claimed that they had been attacked by a tribe of Almasty inside the cave. The monsters began clubbing the rebels with long sticks, prompting the rebels to flee. Only he had made it out unscathed. Topolsky's men claimed to have identified the body of an Almasty amid the rubble. They buried the body near the cave, leaving the bodies of the rebels and remaining monsters inside the collapsed cave. Another swashbuckling tale, but probably just that. Russia is a big place, though. I don't know. It doesn't seem implausible. That's pretty wild. Number 3 is gnomes. There are plenty of people who will watch a first-hand account of a paranormal experience and believe it hook, line, and sinker. To most people, however, they tend to see them as either obviously the work of opportunistic liars or the ramblings of a broken mind trying to concoct a fantasy that either deflects from some real-life trauma or a plea for attention. But gnomes? Well, sure, why not? They've been around forever. Well, there are quite a few videos that show encounters with tiny beings, usually sporting the same sort of garb as the gnomes from European folklore. The idea of there being a hidden folk, mischievous creatures that hide away from our perception, has long been a feature of folk traditions ranging from South America to Asia. But gnomes? Come on, even leprechauns are scarier than these pot plant guarding bearded little men. I don't know. I don't know. Apparently the redcaps don't like us, though. They don't like people at all. They act very aggressively towards people, apparently. I don't know. I'm just saying. Oh, gotta stretch. Oh, sorry. Well, here's number 2. Loneliness is the real monster or weed. This one's going out for you, man, from the West 420. This is all you, brother. Let's be real. Nancy Hoggart, Bigfoot love affair. They need loving too, folks. The Bigfoot need loving too. Let's just address the elephant in the room. Just saying. Like all good love stories, the story of Nancy Hoggart and her lover John begins with some stolen cannabis buds getting consumed and a shotgun aimed at someone's head. Oh no. Oh no. Stick with it, folks. This one is going to get weirder. Despite the quirky nature of the story on the surface, this isn't exactly newsworthy. Then the details emerge. John, the weed-stealing paramour that Nancy fell in love with, is a Sasquatch. Given the obvious outcome of revealing his exact location, government tests and turning poor John into a super soldier, Nancy keeps most of the details about her supernatural sweetheart under wraps. The lovin' is pretty good, though, she claims. That's just a lot weird. I don't think this is him. I'm just saying. He doesn't look very squatchy to me. But you can check out the video for yourself when you get the link itself. All right, here we are. Every psychic from the Territorial Ghost. Every psychic will inform their punters, the terms he's using are really weird, that the spirits that remain restless just beyond the veil of our temporal existence and the hereafter are just bursting to tell us all about the way they died. Sometimes if the ghost is known to the asker, they want to tell you nice things and truisms, but you never hear tell of a spectral incarnation who wants to explain to you how they pee in the in-between realm. What? What? What do you mean pee? Their energy. Or where some lost treasure is to be found. That'd be a good one. One recent story from England seems a good deal more plausible by dint of the fact that the legendary spirit which haunts a creepy part of Somerset's Quantock Hills, known as Dead Woman's Ditch, has a very simple message to passers-by. F off! How charming. Given that this lady is said to have been dragged to the ditch by her husband and then had her throat opened up, one should be a tad more forgiving when hearing the foul-mouthed epithets thrown about by this gobbly-ghoul. Also, if any reader here has any experience of rural Somerset, this sort of angry response to careless ramblers wandering goofily into someone else's land is the exact sort of thing a long-dead local would say. They should count themselves lucky that they aren't getting peppered by some ectoplasmic birdshot fired from an otherworldly over and under. That or some local miscreants are swearing at gullible ghost hunters using Bluetooth speakers. Maybe, but that's the article. That was all 10 of them. Hope you guys liked it. There's videos you can watch as well. I'm pasting the links into the chats that I have available. So if you can't see it where you are in your chat, go to YouTube or Rumble and you can check it out yourself. It's in the chat. All the way up on top over there. There it is. And it's in the chat on YouTube and Rumble. So a clickable link at that. There you go. That's from Listverse. I like those articles. I think they're kind of fun. They're quick and digestible, but they also allude to some pretty interesting stories. Now, I don't think this author is what you would call a true believer. I don't think he's all in on any of this, but he's got a right to his opinion, whatever that is. And he's not really into this. That's fair. I'm going to just look. If this one, maybe we don't have it yet. I'm going to open it just in case because it's a good article for the next time. Oh, let's check out that one. Oh, 10 craziest tales of paranormal encounters. There we go. I pulled up a few new articles from Listverse that we can cover in future shows, but do check out Listverse. It's a great site. That, of course, was Hot for Teacher by Van Halen. That's the stuff. That is the nectar of Mother Earth right there. All right. What do we got? Yeah, you'd have to make people so it isn't fixed. Rules should be hard to come up with. Be fun, though. What are you guys talking about? That could be a new Paranormal Portal segment. Name the tune. Oh, no. Oh, no. We're not creating my show. You guys, I don't want to do name that tune on the Paranormal Portal. I'm sure, yeah, I can play the shit out or the hell out of a plastic bottle. I'm sure that I would run into copyright hell if I tried to do that. Unless I perform the songs myself and made you guys guess. But anyway, I got this pencil. Give me something to write on, man. I don't feel tardy. Anyway, great song. There we go. Here we go. We're going to get to the next part of the show. This is a part that I think has been a welcome addition to the shows. I think you guys have seemingly embraced this, and I appreciate that. And you guys are still seeing me on YouTube, right? Because I still get that same error message. Obviously, you're chatting, so I think that's it. Yes, name that Crypted. No, Chucky, don't even say that out loud. That's one that I was planning. Shh. I was going to do something like that with, this is an idea I had. Like, you know that, did you ever, obviously Sheldon when he was little was really into Pokemon. And there would be Pokemon cartoons and stuff, and he watched all of them. And therefore, I watched a lot of them. But they used to do this thing. Who is that Pokemon? And they show a silhouette, and then they'd go to a commercial break, and then come back, and then they would show the silhouette again, and then reveal it. And, you know, the idea was kids would guess. So I thought that might be kind of fun for cryptids. I mean, obviously, stupid easy on most of them, but, you know, some of them might be tricky. But it could be fun, just little breakout things like that. That was actually something that I've started developing here and there, but it's not been a big push. Like, not an important push. It'd be more of a filler thing to do on the shows. Just to make it more visually compelling, maybe, between segments. But I could name that Cryptid in 2 characteristics, Brent. Really? All right, D Oceans. It has been described as about 3 feet tall and looking like a frog. Name that Cryptid. I'm waiting. Anyone? No? Nobody? Okay. I was speaking of the Loveland Frogman. The Loveland Frogman, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. You might not have known that one, but it's a little lesser known cryptid. Yep. There you don't look like a frog, unknown. A Gugwe? No, Gugwes are like really evil looking Sasquatch. They got the whole sharp teeth and they got a pronounced muzzle. A lot of people think that the picture of the Beast of Seven Shoots is actually a was actually a capture of a Gugwe carrying a white poodle away, and not in a good way. The white poodle was not in a good way. But look up the picture of the Beast of Seven Shoots, and that's what it would be a younger Gugwe if that is a Gugwe. But it kind of looks like the baboon-faced Bigfoot. That's a Gugwe. So there we go. Yes, Loveland Frogman. Now you know. About 3 feet tall, looked like a frog. Found in, it was Loveland, Ohio, I think, is where they were seen around a bridge on a country road. So it was 1 or 2 of them, and it was seen a few times and then kind of never again. Hi, Spirit Stalker. Good to have you here. Hope things are good in your world, and thanks for coming in. All right, so we're going to get to the next one, Foot Goblin. Next part of the show we like to call...
What the hell is that?
Indeed, what the hell is that? That's what we like to call it. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that now. And this is, I've got a ton of these things pulled up. They're all from Facebook. Like, I just found a whole ton of them on Facebook since Saturday's show, so I've just been pulling them over as I find them. It's kind of like an all week long collection attempt. But at any rate, this is What the Hell Is That? This is a segment where we showcase some form of paranormal evidence, quote unquote. Now, not saying everything you're going to see couldn't be AI. Could. Maybe even probably is. But there's some stuff out there that I think is really potentially legitimate. And the reason I started doing this segment was because of seeing thread after thread after thread of thread of confirmation bias. Be like, oh yeah, of course, there's 50 Sasquatch in those bushes. I can see a whole bunch of them. And it's like, those are leaves. That's pareidolia. And not to say that Sasquatch couldn't camouflage that effectively, but chances are they're not 50 Sasquatch, hiding in bushes around your house. Just saying, the law, even the law of averages is against that one ever happening. So this is where we showcase some kind of evidence, and you vote. You guys in the chat will be voting on this and weighing in what you think. Now, obviously, everything you could say, no, it's not real AI. And I appreciate that, and yes, but I'm just saying, look at these things, evaluate the story. If it seems like it might be plausible, maybe it is the real thing. It's not impossible that we're still going to have really good evidence posted, but it's going to be hidden in all of this AI garbage. And it's going to be about impossible to discern for sure. But, yeah. I like this segment just because I wanted to really focus on critical thinking in this stuff, and not like I have all the answers. I'm just encourage you guys really to evaluate what you're seeing and tell me, if you can, why it's probably not real, or what makes you think it is real. But you're going to vote with ones or zeros. 1, you think it's real. 0, no, you're not convinced at all. And if you're kind of in the middle, give me a decimal, like halfway there, 0.5. Yeah, it might be real, maybe not. Or you're most of the way it's real, but not quite able to commit, which could be all of them, but 0.75, whatever. And if you're thinking definitely probably not real, but maybe 0.2, 0.25, whatever. Just use your imagination, but it's just an opportunity for us to weigh in and look at some pretty good evidence. I think most of this stuff is pretty good stuff. So here's the first one coming up tonight. This is from Facebook. Comes from Red's Creepy Clips. We've showcased a few of the stuff that they have posted here on What the Hell Is That. I like this channel on Facebook, this page. They do a good job. They're hosting a lot of this stuff, so you can look through their images and see tons of it. And again, please, as we're going through this, don't cast aspersion at the sites. They're not really propagating hoaxes. They're propagating discussion. They're putting it out there, and we're evaluating it. If it is obviously fake, I'm sure the website owners know that too, but they're putting it out there as material just to show people what's being represented as evidence out there. So don't go hateful on these sites. That's not the spirit of what we're doing here. All right, here it is. Here's the first one from Red's Creepy Clips. And I'm going to read the caption over on the right. It can't really fit right now, but I'm going to have to move it over a little more just to get the actual image in frame. There we go. That should work. The photo's owner explained, I know some people won't believe this is real, but I can assure you it's 100% authentic. A longtime family friend, Kevin, owns the mechanic shop next door, and we've known him for years. His family also has a farm in New Jersey built in the 1700s, where I grew up. The land carries a dark history, and it's said that many enslaved people were hung and died there long ago. Over the years, Kevin's family often reported strange sights and sounds around the property. One evening, Kevin's teenage niece was sitting in the living room with a friend who was casually snapping pictures on her laptop. And out of all the shots taken, only one revealed this chilling figure clear as day. The girls didn't even notice it until later. Creepy, and so on and so forth. This is the creepy figure. Now, you notice this is, if it's not AI, this is probably about a 7-foot tall door jamb, maybe 6.5. I don't know how tall door jambs are for sure. Depends on the age of a house. But as you look down, there's a hand, there's a head of some kind. Looks like probably bushy hair and potentially a hip, but then look at the leg. What the hell's going on there? So something is a little amiss. So my question to you, as you evaluate this image, is it real? Do you think it might be real? And there's no wrong answers. There's no right answers. Just vote your take on it. 1 real, 0 not real, or some decimal. Where are you at with this, guys? Time to vote. Where are we at? Let's see what you got. 0 from Hooking Good Creations by Tina. Rachel gives it a 0.5, maybe. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Aussie gives it a 1, all in. Kedstar is giving it nothing. Nope, not buying this one. What do we got? Mike Cools saying all in. Yep. Amanda's all in as well with a 1. 0.4 from Sharon Sunshine. Less than half. 0.5 from Wizard. Negative 67. Ouch, dead. No. That's a pretty negative reaction. 0.5 need motion to tell. Fair enough. I mean, it is a still image. 0.7, I like how there's a little bit of play over the top of the frame. Yeah. Yep. It has no feet. Yeah, that does make it more convincing in a lot of ways, right? Unknown's not buying this one. Neither's Yeshua. 420's halfway there. 0.5er from Hello Friend and 0 from The Oceans. Okay, fair enough. Do you mean the guy in the hall standing on the chair with no head? Yeah, I think that's where we're at. I don't see the chair, but maybe there's a chair. It's hard to say. It could be leaning out from a countertop and just have some drapey fabric happening. I don't know. What do we got over on Rumble? Well, let's see. So far, it looks like Barbara's the only one that's voted with a 1. I don't see a vote from Justin or Big D or Car Juice. So Barbara's the only one voting on Rumble right now. Giving it a 1. Chucky's not buying this one at all. Nope. Chucky says nope. Okay. Fair enough. The one printed eggings. What's an egging? I don't. Oh, is that what you're saying? These are leggings and maybe not like a shelf in the back. That's kind of a cool take, really. Maybe this is the chair. Maybe you guys, maybe you're seeing it in a different way. Not that it's impossible, or this is the chair. I guess that looks like her feet would be there. And then maybe a chair. Yeah, it could be just someone standing up on a chair. Kind of really fuzzy on the top there, but it's a webcam, so you get what you get. Yeah, leggings. Yeah, maybe that is leggings. That's a good take. I appreciate that insight. Could be right. There you go. That's the vote. Yes, that's the chair. Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying now, Unknown. I didn't see that before. Once I was looking at these as leggings, it's like, oh, well, maybe. Maybe that is leggings. Maybe this is some kind of drapey blouse thing going on here. Some real Morticia Adams stuff. I don't know. But cool stuff. Anyway, good take. We don't know. Nobody knows, and I can't give you the answer. It's just, what do you think? So that's the first one, but we got more. Don't worry. Got more. Again, that was Red's Creepy Clips. Here's a video, and this is coming from Slapped Ham. I love Slapped Ham. I've been watching Callum forever for ghostly videos just like this. Just like this. I love that head tilt that he does. Callum and Slapped Ham. So this is a video that comes out of, I think it's looks like a hospital of some kind. It says a night cleaner keeps capturing strange things on camera. Whispers in empty halls, footsteps on vacant stairs, and moving objects by themselves. So this is from Slapped Ham. This is a video. I'm going to try to play the sound. I don't know if we're going to get music on this or not. I guess I don't care. If we get music, we get music. It's not really a copyright strike. What happens if I play somebody's music? They end up taking part of the revenue of the advertising for an episode. So let's check this out. Here it is from Slapped Ham. Here's the video. Somebody that cleans. I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know what this says. Sente que me tocaron sale corriendo. Se grabo. I don't know what this word is because it's covered by that stuff. But let's take a look at the video. See what you guys think.
Recording starts much the same, quiet, echoing rooms.
Muchos ruidos. Oigan.
But in the first half of the clip, there's a faint moan or whisper under the ambient noise.
Se escucha como que gritaran. Como si
Okay, that's plenty creepy. If you got something squealing and making noise and there's not supposed to be anybody there, that's nightmare fuel.
hablara. Pues nadie.
Actually, sounds like it could be a dog. Somebody's got a dog in the place.
Pues se escucha que grita.
Sarah pauses, listening.
Que grita. Creo que es de acá.
There's a lot of jumps, so it's hard to see where, I mean, it's clearly been edited. I'm sure the full version is much longer, but let's keep going.
Se escucha que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Que grita. Que grita. Creo que es de acá. Hay veces que se oyen las sillas de ruedas que caminan, que hablan.
As if the noises aren't unsettling enough, a few minutes later, this happens.
¿Qué pasa? ¡Ay, no! ¿Qué es eso? ¡Ay, no!
A second recording starts much the same.
Okay, so there it is. I'm going to kill the sound and just let it play. What do you guys think is going on here? Squeaky machinery sounds to me, kind of. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Could be. Dog or a chair screeching on the floor. Yeah. Sounds like a chair being pushed on the floor. Yeah. Yeah, you guys have a great take. I mean, I can't argue with that. That definitely would make squeaking noises like that, or, you know, weird noises like that. I just wonder, why is there nobody in this whole place except this cleaning person? Like, it looks like a hospital kind of setting, right? It's not just me. But let's see what you guys are saying. Zero from the unknown. Aussie's all in. Sharon Sunshine, nope. Yeshua's all in. Karen says nope. Chucky's all in. Mike Cool, nope. Not buying this one. Wizard's all in. I had enough of that. Fair enough. 0.5, maybe not supernatural. Yeah, it's hard to say. There's a lot we don't know. And again, this is pretty heavily edited. I'd like to see the full video. But 5-ish maybe. Well, it's either 0 or 1 or in between 0 and 1. So you mean 0.5? Is that what you mean, hello friend? Pixies, nope. Hook and Good Creations by Tina, nope. Justin Goodearth over in Rumble, 0.5. Barbara, 0.5 as well. Okay. That's okay, Justin. It's okay to make lunch. You don't owe me an apology. I just noticed you didn't vote, so I was just saying it to see if you wanted to vote quick. But yeah, I mean, it's all possible. And we don't know, and we're not going to know, but these are all gut checks. These are all just, what do you think? What are you seeing? Do you think there's some merit to this being supernatural, paranormal? Yeah, I mean, it sure could be. This could definitely be actual evidence captured, but it could also definitely be faked. I think the thing that really kind of makes me go, huh, is here. That's a pretty delayed reaction, and she makes sure to get over to show that area, and that to me kind of looks a bit like a setup, like she knows she wants to get it on camera, but maybe she wants the confirmation for herself too, like, oh, is somebody there screwing with me? And then when nobody's there, she's already wound up, so maybe that's why she then takes off. But it does seem like a delayed reaction. Like if I saw something running and I was really skittish, I'd just be like, nope, boom, gone. I'm not investigating. I'm just going somewhere else. So that's the questionable part to me. The sounds are ambiguous. Could be mechanical, could be animal, could be another person just being annoying. You just don't know. So that's a cool video, though. Again, I love Slapped Ham. I love watching their videos whenever they come out. I usually catch all of them. And Nukes as well. I like Nukes as well. So very good. That's that one. We've checked that one out. Let's and definitely support Slapped Ham, guys. It's a great show. If you've never watched it, look for Slapped Ham on YouTube. You're gonna love it. It's a great collection of pretty incredible videos and a lot of less incredible ones, but they're worth looking at. All right, so this is coming from Dead Air Archives. It's called Recovered Footage. Recording was submitted by a sailor following an unusual incident at sea. The individual reported noticing something in the water while working alone, prompting them to begin recording. So what they're saying is the guy's working on a ship, notices something weird, decides to start recording. All right, get your AI hats on. That's what I'm going to say about this one. And here we go. Again, from Dead Air Archives.
What the? Oh my god. What the?
She looked like a bluefin tuna. There you go. That's it. Okay, there it is. That's the footage. What do you guys think? Did everybody get their AI hats on in time? You got to make sure to avoid the AI penetrating your skull as you watch it. Yeah, that's pretty clearly not a real thing, but I mean, but it does kind of showcase This is what AI is becoming. And used to be you could tell AI videos because of the interaction with the water. It just didn't look right. And things didn't sit in the water right. That was one of the hurdles. But clearly, the water mechanics look just about flawless, which shows how far this is traversed in such a short period. You know, you see that the water interacting in a very realistic way with this object, which makes it seem like it's in the water. But there you go. So let's see what you guys said. I think it's... Did he run around slapping hammer? I don't know, Karen. What do we got? 0 from Chucky. BS from Sharon. 0. Big Fat 0 from Karen. Hook and Good Creations gave me 3 zeros. 0 from Wizard. Rachel 0. Sharon Sunshine 0. So Fake from Supernatural Station. Jose is not buying this. -2 from Pixie Ranger. We actually owe Pixie some more. Mike Cool's giving it nope. 0 from Supernatural Station again. The water doesn't move the right amount. Splash for when it came back in the water. Yeah, it's a small splash. That's a good take. Kedster, nope, not buying it. Can't even vote on that one. Unknown says -40. It's like getting younger, Aussie. It's like you subtracted your age. Yeshua's giving it nope. And Kedster says, I wish. Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to the idea of there being something approximating mermaids in our oceans. We don't know much about what's going on there. Wouldn't surprise me a whole lot to hear there's some kind of humanoids that are more fish-like, or mammalian in a whale dolphin kind of way. Hello friends, not buying this one, not quite right. 0 from D Oceans. 420 Man from the West, nope. It's good, yeah. It's getting better. Scary, it is. It really is. What do we got over here on Rumble? Let's see. -0 from Dog Digger, and 0 from Big D, 0 from Justin Goodearth. Pretty flawless fake. Yeah, it is really surprising. And Barbara Mora gives it a 0. So not a lot of believers going on for this one, and fair enough. I didn't think you would buy it, but see, that's the critical thinking part. I think you guys made the right call. I think you made the right call. Let's go to the next one. What do we got for time? 8:31. Yeah, maybe we'll do one more, maybe 2 more. We'll see. Let me close this one. And again, that was Dead Air Archives. That's another site I just found. This one's RMSO. This is from Kelly Shaw and his wife, have the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization. And I'm trying to think. This one's it's actually kind of longer. Maybe I'll save this one for another night if we have less. Here's a picture. This one actually comes from Mr. Ballin Facebook group. Of course, everybody knows Mr. Ballin. He's a fantastic, does a fantastic show and storytelling and exploring some of the strangeness as well as unsolved mysteries and a whole lot of different material. But I like Mr. Ballin. I think his shows are really well done. He seems like a really nice guy, and I think it's doing a fantastic job. So this photo that we're going to be showing, this is a photo from Mr. Ballin's Facebook page. So definitely follow that. Make sure you follow his Facebook page. This photo was taken in 2008 at a farm in Hertfordshire, England. A photographer and graphic designer named Neil Sandbach was hired to capture scenic images of the property for a couple who planned to hold their wedding ceremony there. Well, at the time Neil was completely alone, he spent hours photographing the barn and surrounding areas, carefully checking each shot as he went. He was certain that no one entered the frame and no children were anywhere near the building. He says, later, while reviewing the images on his computer, Neil noticed something he couldn't explain. In one photo, a small white figure appears to be peeking out. Let me put it on the screen. Appears to be peeking out from behind the corner of the barn. The figure looks like a child and appears almost glowing. Neil says he would have noticed someone standing there and insists the barn was empty when the photo was taken. Concerned and confused, Neil showed the image to the engaged couple before the wedding, and they decided to ask the farm staff if anything strange had ever happened on the property, and they did not mention the photo. To their shock, the staff admitted that over the years, several people had reported seeing a young boy dressed in white night clothes wandering near the barn. The description matched the figure in Neil's photo exactly. So if no one was there that day and the farm was empty when the shutter clicked, who was watching Neil from behind that barn? Well, there you go. There's the picture, as you can see on your screen. This is the corner of the barn. This is a pretty famous photo. It's been around for a while. This is not AI. This is prior to AI. This photo definitely predates AI. So just so you know, don't go to the AI excuse on this one, because this is actually much older than AI. So either it's a fake, a hoax, some darkroom trickery or Photoshop, or it's the real thing. That's what we're left with. Let's see what you're voting. Hi, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. BMR, how you doing, brother? What do you think? Is this real? So please vote now. I see there's votes on here. I don't know exactly where they start. Yeshua's all in with 1.5 from Mike Cool. Halfway there. It looks like Lisa Marie's giving this a 1. And I think that's it for the votes on top. Let's go down. Yeshua's all in on this one. Wizard Moon, yep. Rachel gives it right, yes. Hello Friend, yes. Jose, yep, all in. And Aussie Boss Tiger's all in on this one. 0.5 from Kedster. 0.7 from Sharon Sunshine, most of the way there. 0.98 from Pixie Ranger, almost all the way there. And D Oceans gives it a 0.5, and Chucky Danger a 0. Chucky's not buying this one. Neither is the Unknown. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, where does my voting start here? All right, over on Rumble, we got Barbara Mora with a 1. Big D's giving it a 1. Dog Digger's a 0.5. And Justin Good Earth 0.5. Yeah. Karen Alberding gave it a 1 as well. So there you go. There you go. I think it's a pretty good take. I really do. I think this one is legit. Just based on, this is a story that's been around for a while. The image has been around for a while. I don't know what a ghost should look like on camera, but if I was going to guess, it'd be a lot like this. Not that they couldn't look like a person, less glowy, but maybe it's the nature of the spirit. I don't know. Maybe that's how they appear, is due to their nature. In some cases. I don't know. I'm just speculating wildly. There we go. Got to give the sigh after every drink. All right, there you go. I think we'll do one more, and then we'll get on to the Cryptid Corner, because we got time for that tonight. We got time for a little bit of it anyway. All right, I'm going to close out again, Mr. Ballins. Worth checking out. What the hell is this? What just happened? There we go. All right, so this one's again from Slapped Ham. This is another one. I can't read it though. Oh, this is an EVP. Apparently in the UK there was a brutal stabbing on a train, and horrible event. But as they're doing a report, they're showing the footage of the fire, the emergency workers down by the train, just taking care of the scene. And it's from a distance, but apparently there's a really good EVP on here. And you'll hear it, trust me, because we're going to play it. But again, this comes from Slapped Ham. It's from GB News, Queen of Clowns. I don't know what Queen of Clowns means, but it's from Slapped Ham. This is where they hosted the video. Let's take a look. This is a great one. Again, support Slapped Ham. Definitely support Slapped Ham. Here we go. Bringing it up on screen now.
With coverage of the unfolding event, reporter Mark White was giving updates from outside the cordoned area. As he described the horrific scene, the microphones picked up something unusual. A faint whispering voice behind the broadcast.
At the moment, as I say, described for our radio audience here, are a number of individuals. I can see those in orange.
Several viewers heard it. Others clipped the footage and uploaded it online. When the audio is isolated, it sounds unmistakably like a whisper saying, "The train never stops."
Radio audience here are a number of individuals,
The phrase has since taken on a life of its own. Online forums, including Reddit, X and TikTok, have filled with eerie theories. During GB News live coverage of the...
There it is. The train never stops. All right. What do you guys think? I have a great EVP if you'd like. Yeah, of course. I'd love to showcase that nocturnal frequency. Can you send it to me on paranormalportalradio@gmail.com? I'd love to hear it either way, but if you wouldn't mind if I put it on the show as well, that'd be great to showcase as well. For sure. And if you'd like to be a guest, if you do research and have some experiences you'd like to talk about on the podcast, I'm just saying, I'm always looking for guests. So, a lot of ones on this one. Let's see what everybody's voting. Looks like, my God, there we are. Lisa Marie kind of opens it up with 1. Karen Alberting's 1. Rachel's 1. Jordan Cogburn gives us a 1. Jose's all in. Hollow Whisper. Yeah, it is a Hollow Whisper. Wizard Moon, 1. Yep, it does sound like it. It really does. Yeah, I mean, it really sounds like the train never stops. Aussie Boss Tiger, 1. Hooking Good Creations by Tina, 1. 2 Clear. There's incredible EVPs out there, folks. I mean, just because they don't sound really distant or whatever does not mean that they can't be solid EVPs. There's everything from sounding like people talking right next to you to weird garbled whispers like that. So there's everything in between. And that's the grade. You grade EVPs like you grade anything else. Like a really good one, would be sounding like it was whispered right into the microphone. A less good one would be something you really had to strain to hear and isolate and work on, try to pull it out with filters and stuff. So 2 Clear is, EVPs can be crystal clear. There's no definitive on EVPs. Vincent Sanchez is 1. Deocean 1. Kedster 1. Pixie's not buying this one. 0.6 from Sharon Sunshine. 0. I've heard a similar thing in the Queen's funeral. Sure. Doesn't mean it can't be both. Don't think that because of one, both. These things can be, I'm sure we all capture EVPs. I've heard people tell me that I've captured EVPs from my show. They were going to isolate them and send them to me, but or I was going to isolate it, and I never did. But I've heard people report, look, I'm hearing something in your audio, and I tried to isolate it, and I can hear something like this, and I think it happens. So, yeah, it does sound very similar. Maybe it's, these are both from the BBC. Who knows? But again, one because it's one doesn't mean it can't be both. There can be 2 really good EVPs. They're certainly quite a ways apart as far as whens, but you never know. Might be this crew. Might be the same broadcast crew that got both of them. It's hard to say. 1 from Chucky Danger. He's all in. Is that the original audio? As far as we know, it's from Slapped Ham. So I don't know. Only they would know, but we assume it is. Okay, I had to walk Sabo. I'm back. Okay, welcome back, Pancho. Yeshua's all in on this one. Earthbound spirits can re-experience. What is that? What is re-experience? Re-experience. I know what you're doing there. You just hit a T instead of an R. Their death over and over indefinitely. Yeah, being in the death state would suck. I got no idea, says Mike Cool. In my bed on the phone, cannot see pics well enough to vote. This one's all audio, Pancho, but it's just a voice that comes through and during their television broadcast that says the train never stops in a whispered voice. You just can't tell if someone is faking. Yeah, and don't worry about whether or not you're right or not. Just, it's a gut check. This is all just a gut check. Nope, can happen, but both are on TV broadcasts. That's why I say 0. Fair enough. But I'm sure that's not the only EVPs that have been captured by broadcast stations through the years. It's just, it was quiet enough that it was easier to hear. During a funeral, quiet. During this, the whole area is isolated with just the emergency workers. So, and the broadcaster talking, quiet. So there's a lot of times from news and broadcasts, it's very noisy. You got a lot of noise going on. You may never be able to tell if an EVP happened or not. But in both of these situations, both at a funeral and at this scene where we're not hearing the audio from the scene, we're just seeing the footage, and then the broadcasters are talking over. So, but yeah, I'm not saying you should believe it or not. I'm just, being an advocate for both sides here. Re-experience of death could feel like the train never stops. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. What do we got over in Rumble? We've got Child funeral clothing. Oh, on the child spirit. Good. Yeah, child funeral clothing. That's a good take, Barbara. Yeah. So what do we see on this one, guys? 1 from Barbara, 1 from Big D, 0.75 from Justin Goodearth, and Dog Digger didn't get to hear it because he's on the phone. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good take. Could be legit. Could be any number of things. We don't know what's going on with their connection, with their footage. We don't know if there's a production assistant in the back making some weird comments. We just don't know. But based on what we can see, that's all we can do is just evaluate it as well as we can, folks. So this has been a production of the segment that we like to call...
What the hell is that?
There it is, folks. What the hell is that? And I even turned it off. I'm getting darn good. All right, we are going to get to the next segment and last segment of the show. With the last 15 minutes that we got here, we're going to go into some of the cryptids, folks. So buckle up. It's time to head into the darkened spaces to explore the Cryptid Corner. There it is, folks. Time for the Cryptid Corner, and this is where we discuss all the creatures that aren't actually established by our sciences and biologists, but nonetheless, people keep reporting seeing them over and over and over. So the first place we're going to stop is on Sasquatch Chronicles blog, of course. This is all Wes's job, and if you're familiar with the podcast, you really should check out the blog, because Wes puts a lot of supplemental and extra information up on the blog, and a lot of information from other shows, including the Portal, which is really nice of him. Appreciate that extra plug, Wes. Thank you very much. And I hope you guys will visit it. Check it out. Lots of info here. So let's take a look at the first offering tonight. I think I got to reframe this a little. Get it over to the side like this. Oh my God, what the hell is that? Wrong segment. See what I did there? Do that. There we go. All right, this one comes from January 23rd. Possible Vietnam rock ape encounter. And if you're not familiar with the term rock apes, that was a term that was used a lot during the Vietnam conflict back in the day. American servicemen several of them did bump into these weird hominid beings, ape-like beings, in the deep jungles of Vietnam. And they termed them rock apes. And I guess it's because they generally would find them in rocky alcoves or up on the mountains or whatever. But these were experiences that they had with these beings. The villagers also had legends and stories about them. One of the legendary stories of the rock ape was, you can't let it grab you, because if it grabs you, it will never let go and it'll drag you away. That's one of the village stories that I've heard dealing with the rock apes. A lot of people were taken and never seen again after a rock ape got a hold of them. Like if they grab your arm, they're apparently so strong you're never going to get your arm free. There's nothing you can do. And they drag people away and they're never to be seen again. So I don't know much more about them than that. I don't think they're as big as a Sasquatch. They seem to be around the 5-6 foot range mostly. They're more diminutive, not quite as much as the Homo florensiensis or Orang Pandek or Ibugogo, but they are not as big as like a Yowie, a Yera, and an Alma or whatever. So let's check this out. January 23rd. A listener writes, I wanted to share a possible encounter I had in Vietnam. Earlier this year, I completed a 4-day, 3-night backpacking trek through the Sandung Cave, the largest cave in the world, located deep within the remote Phong Nha Ke Bang National Park in Vietnam, in central Vietnam. While we never actually saw anything unusual, we heard unexplained noises, and more importantly, the behavior and comments from the guides and porters stood out as the most unsettling part of the experience. The first night at our initial campsite, I woke up around 11 p.m. and noticed that one of the porters standing near the cave entrance, slowly scanning the cave wall with a flashlight. Several people later reported hearing multiple loud rock fall sounds throughout the night. And when we asked about it, the next morning, the explanation we were given was that the sounds were caused by a porter slapping a sleeping bag mat against the ground, and that the flashlight was being used to scare water buffalo away from the cave entrance. Neither explanation matched what we heard or saw, and both felt deeply unsatisfying. On the third day, we hiked into a section of the cave where the river runs underground, preventing the seasonal flooding found in earlier areas. Eventually, we reached a massive opening known as the Garden of Edam, a lush jungle-filled chamber with an opening high above but no accessible route in or out on foot. In addition to the entrance and exit used for the trek, there's a third, very large cave opening in this area. The guides told us they had never accessed it. At different times, they offered different reasons, one saying cave formations blocked the entry, another time claiming that the area was impassable due to the heavy mud. I noticed extreme thick green vegetation stretching from the rim of that opening all the way upward towards the canopy. While in this jungle section, the guides pointed out bird carcasses and cracked snail shells, and they said they had found nearby. That night, we camped just inside the entrance of the Garden of Edam. Before bed, the guides casually mentioned without being prompted that if we heard what sounded like a crying baby during the night, we should ignore it. At first, they said it was a large bird. Later, when I asked again, they changed the explanation to a giant flying squirrel call. That night was also the only time during the entire trek when the porters placed their tents on both sides of ours, essentially surrounding the group. Once everyone went to sleep, I almost immediately heard a loud sound resembling two rocks being clacked together. This continued intermittently throughout the night from roughly 11 p.m. until 4 a.m. When I asked the guide about it the next day, he suggested it was water dripping into a metal stool, an explanation that didn't fit at all, as the sound was extremely loud and sharp, not anything like dripping water. I also asked whether he had heard the baby crying sounds, and he told me he'd woken up at around 3 a.m. and listened but hadn't heard anything. Meanwhile, another person in camp reported waking up to use the bathroom during the night and seeing someone awake with a flashlight, seemingly watching over the camp. After the trek, the guides shared a story about the first explorer of Sandung Cave, which was only discovered in the 1990s. According to them, while he was exploring the cave, sticks began flying through the air and striking him. Well, at first he scolded his porters, thinking they were playing a prank, until he realized it was a monkey throwing the sticks. Our group was only the 10th to pass through the cave since flood season has ended, meaning that if anything lived in the unexplored cave area, it would have experienced months of complete isolation before suddenly being exposed to human activity again. Based on everything that happened, I've begun to theorize that this may have been a rock-ape encounter, if something like that exists there. I believe it primarily inhabits the cave entrance that the guides claimed has never been accessed. From that location, it would have access to both the cave system and the surrounding mountains where animals like goat, cattle, deer, and wild hogs are present. The environment would be ideal, protected from the elements. Cool in the summer, warm in the winter, constant access to water, abundant food, and very few humans. I also suspect the cave team may be aware of its presence and have prepared explanations for tourists who report rock falls, rock clacking, or baby-like cries at night. This tour operator is the only group permitted to run expeditions through Sondong, and they would be heavily incentivized to keep something like this quiet. Each expedition consists of around 30 people, so whatever is there likely wouldn't risk a direct confrontation, but it could certainly express displeasure through nighttime activity once the camp settled down. I'm very curious if you've heard from other listeners about similar experiences in Vietnam. I know there were numerous rock ape reports from soldiers during the Vietnam War, and there was a fairly well-known footprint found within the same national park. Beyond that, I haven't found much in my own research, and that silence is almost interesting as the experience itself. There you go. Wow. Yep. Can't mess with those rock apes, man. I don't know what they are for sure. I assume they must be some branch of what we understand Bigfoot and Yowies to be. But it's anybody's guess. That was that story anyway. I like those stories because we don't get a lot of information about things like rock apes. We just don't hear about them much. And maybe it's because obviously we don't have real common and regular discussions rather with people who might be familiar with them in Vietnam. Like the locals might, I'm sure they know all about them. And they just kind of regard it as part of their world. And it maybe doesn't even occur to them to go, oh, you guys should come here. We got these ape guys. You know, it just doesn't come up. I don't know if it would be something that would be directly covered up or not, but maybe. Maybe it would. I don't know. But cool story. I hope you guys like that one. I just got to look here and see. How long is this one? That one's a little longer. We could do this one. We can do this one from January 22nd. Sasquatch Chronicles blog. This is an upcoming guest. I was chased by a thing. A listener writes, I'm from Arkansas, and in the fall of 2021, I was hunting bow in an area I knew well, though it had always felt a little off. Did we do this one? I think we did this one. I think I just forgot to close it. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. This one we did. I can't reread it to you. Go to the next one. What do we got here? Oh, this is perfect. This is Unusual Experiences Growing Up, January 21st. A listener writes, I am 60 years old, a retired teacher, a business owner, and after returning to school later in life, now a paralegal. Wow. That's a pretty robust life experience. My interest in unexplained phenomena began with a personal experience from my childhood in southwest Michigan, where I grew up on a farm. One night I witnessed strange lights in the woods, and around the same time I heard something I've never been able to explain. When I tried to tell my parents about it, they dismissed what I heard as a deer caught in the electric fence. Well, I trusted their judgment and never mentioned it again. Still, I've never forgotten the screams. At the time, I was certain someone was being murdered. Over the years, I've heard fox, bobcat, cougar, even rabbits scream. Yeah, you know, if a rabbit scream, it's not a good thing. It's like the only time they'll make a sound is when they're in the jaws or talons of some predator. And then they make a lot of noise. And it's terrifying. It's a horrible noise. I've searched endlessly online, listening to recordings of nearly every animal and bird that I could find, trying to match the sound that I heard that night. Nothing has ever come close. This experience was deeply unsettling. The sound itself seems to paralyze me with fear. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I felt physically sick to my stomach. There were only 3 screams spaced out over time. The entire event lasted roughly 20 minutes and occurred in the middle of the night during the summer, sometime in the early 1980s. And unfortunately, because I tried so hard to forget as a child, I no longer remember the exact year. The lights are another part of the story. I saw them multiple times, first as a teenager, again in my 20s, and once more in my 30s. Each time they appeared as bright white lights hovering just above the treetops. Completely silent, strangely, I always seemed to know when they were there. I would run out onto the deck and watch as they traveled from east to west, moving over the lake and then disappearing into the woods on the far shore. These experiences have never left me. They've lingered quietly in the background of my life, always present. For most of my adult years, I've tried to understand what I witnessed and what I heard. I was hoping you might be able to recommend reliable reading material or research sources. I want to understand what these screams were and what those strange lights might have been. Yeah, I think we'd all like to know. Those screams are generally associated with a Bigfoot, says Charles R. in the comments. I heard one scream at my buddy's house 3 a.m. on his 10 wooded acres in Mount Haley Township of Midland County, Michigan. I think it's Michigan, am I? Maybe not. September 1st, 1996, and it scared the heck out of me and Mike. And we talked about it often. At that time, we did not know what it was, only knew with all of his guns we weren't going to go out to investigate. It's just something you never forget. I believe that. But there it is, folks. Another presentation of the Paranormal Portal. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here and being a part of the journey. As always, you guys are amazing. I love it when you're here. You make my life full of meaning and warm feelings. So thank you for that. If you're still got a hankering for a lot more paranormal, then you're in luck, because Dave Scott is going to be going live right now over on youtube.com/spacedoutradio. Go check out what Dave's doing. He's a fantastic guy, does a hell of a show, and is really a great show to watch. You'll love it. Give it a shot. A lot of our chatters go over there as well. So you will be in good company if you go over there. But that's what we got time for tonight. I didn't see T-Bone tonight. Did you guys? I just noticed T-Bone was not here. I don't think he was here anyway. Anyway, that's what we got time for. So I'm going to go hang it up and kick my feet up, I guess. Check out the podcast. Came out on Wednesdays. I'm doing the Wednesday podcast releases now. I think the shows are getting noticed more by releasing away from the weekend. I used to release late on Sunday nights, early Monday morning. But I've been starting to release on Wednesdays, and the shows are doing better. So I think there's merit to the fact that maybe a lot of shows are released during the weekend, and it makes it more competitive. But later in the week, not as much. So that's when I'm putting them out there every Wednesday. So watch for it. The new one went up actually earlier today. Really earlier today. Actually last night, but you know what I'm saying. So check it out if you haven't already. It's some UFO encounters that are pretty fascinating stuff. Hope you like it. All right, that's all we got time for. Remember, love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And I'll be back on Friday. Naysay will be joining me. It'll be Friday the 13th. So hopefully you'll be here and we'll have an epic show. Good night, everybody. See you next time. Until then, take care of yourselves.
Woo!